Your Life and Sex Island, Chapter 6, The Life and Sex Island, page 228. It has been determined that the cause of the depression on your Life and Sex Island and in the United States was and is economic inequality. Various methods have been tried to correct that terrible injustice. We have just discussed 2. Now let's take a look at 3 more. Consider the third solution: moral outrage resulting in some social justice. On our Life and Sex Island, the economy had degenerated to such a catastrophe that it became apparent to a few that either they would all perish or something had to be done. Certainly Trader Mac wasn't going to do anything. Why should he? Life is good. He has as many servants and obsequious friends as he desires. The girls are so desperate just to survive that they will do anything for a trinket which is absolutely meaningless to Trader Mac but is extremely valuable to someone whose family is starving. Many girls will be throwing themselves at him. He can simply take his pick every day. It would not occur to Trader Mac that anything is wrong. Dozens of truth fountain poets and poet wannabes will sing his praises and extol his wisdom. The only change that Trader Mac would consider would be more and yet more inequality. The third solution is the actual solution that was taken in the United States during the first Great Depression. It was not very effective in ending the Depression, but it was effective in preventing another for a while until it was slowly undermined. So the people who understood that something had to be done formed a committee. The committee became such a majority that it was able to cow Trader Mac and his truth fountain poets. Trader Mac huffed and he puffed and he bellowed and howled, but in the end he had to agree to their changes. Trader Mac and all of the truth fountain poets had to pay more for their food. Trader Mac also had to pay for training all of the people who desired to learn how to more effectively produce food. Trader Mac had to pay anyone who was too sick or too old to work. Trader Mac also had to lower the price of his water, the free spring water. It was further agreed that when Trader Mac died, his rocks would be equally divided among all of the people. So the symptoms of the inequality problem were somewhat relieved. People stopped going mad from drinking seawater. People, most of them, didn't go to bed quite so hungry. People no longer died when they were too sick to work. They didn't die of starvation in their old age. So thus, the immediate difficulty was ameliorated. But Trader Mac and the truth fountain poets were furious. The truth fountain poets hammered at this attack on the free market. They whittled at the death tax. They expounded the merits of the fair tax, the flat tax, where everyone would pay the same as Trader Mac. It's only fair. But Trader Mac could deduct all of his expenses, of which the producers had none. They wept that the free market was corrupted by forcing Trader Mac and the truth fountain poets to pay the same as everyone else for their food. They said that soon, if the free market was not reestablished, the sky would fall and they would all be crushed. They rebranded the committee the Flatheads. They didn't have a word for socialist. So slowly, ever so slowly, Trader Mac and the truth fountain poets got the old system back, and everything went to hell again. The explanation, according to the truth fountain poets, was that they hadn't gone far enough, fast enough. But the economy, did go to hell again, all too soon and all too predictably. Consider the fourth solution, 2008. Again, the people formed a committee. This time, there were not as many committee members who understood the problem. But the committee that was went to Trader Mac and begged for a pittance. he gave everyone one red rock and told them to get lost. Everyone was so grateful. They took their one red rock, and for a few sunrises, things were better. No attempt was made to fix the problem. Even better, no attempt was made to discuss the problem, or even to figure out what the problem was. Goodness, we might upset one of the big donors. And things, the economy, went right back to where they were. Equal opportunity, but not equal results. Consider the fifth solution, the future. Joe's kid, remember Joe's kid, the mathematical genius, who started this whole thing back when? Well, Joe's kid had been dispassionately observing the results of the introduction of his rocks as a medium of exchange. Sometimes he laughs, sometimes he cries. Very seldom is he favorably impressed. He views the whole rock mess as a reflection of the human condition. His rocks, he tried to convince himself, his rocks did not cause all of the chronic problems. Humans caused all of the problems. No, 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 not his rocks. It started so well, the use of his rocks, the utility of his rocks. What went wrong? This wasn't how he planned it. Well, he thought, as long as people were just using his rocks as a substitute for the actual thing that they were exchanging, everything went well. It was when the rocks were imbued with other properties and became a thing in themselves. The rocks became a them that people began to love and respect. Them being the rocks, just the damn rocks, became more important than human relations. Damn, he thought, not goddamn, because although Joe's kid had been foolish enough to invent rocks, he had not been so foolish as to invent God and really cause problems. Money, he did not know, was not the root of all evil. So damn, he thought, if it wasn't for rocks, would Trader Mac have started to sell the free spring water? He could not have collected mahi-mahi. No, mahi-mahi are only good for a day, 2 at most. Joe's kid himself had made a little bamboo pen at the edge of the sea where he could keep mahi-mahi for a few days. But that is neither here nor there. Trader Mac might have collected potatoes or coconuts or something like that, but think how foolish he, Trader Mac, would look with a pile of potatoes that would rot before he could use them up. No, Joe's kid reasoned to himself, Trader Mac probably would never have grabbed the free spring if he, Joe's kid, hadn't invented rocks. The same with using another person's time, labor. You could use a person to help you move some stones or something, but you would have to pay him in potatoes or something before rocks were invented. You couldn't start up something as ephemeral as labor, but Joe's kid, having invented rocks, was not willing to blame rocks, his invention, for all the troubles which had invaded the Life and Sex Island. No, no, it wasn't the rocks themselves, which after all had no feelings or intelligence, which caused the problem. No, Joe's kid reasoned, it was somehow the way that they were being used that caused the problems. No, people were starving and going mad from drinking seawater, but how on earth could you blame rocks, mere stones, which after all had always been there doing no harm? What would happen, he thought, if you limited rocks to their original intended use, just a medium of exchange? Go back to just using red rocks so that there would be only enough to facilitate commerce, but not so many that huge numbers of rocks could be stored for future use. Oh, I wonder what is going to happen next. We'll just have to come back and see. You see, I have to stop here. Please come back and find out what happens. Meantime, if you want the whole story, purchase the book by clicking on the link in the description below. Thank you again for being here.